What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I'd like to talk about the Atlanta Falcons defensive identity. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content or NFL content. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you'd like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. With that being said, let's jump right into the video. So as I mentioned in today's video, I do want to talk about the Atlanta Falcons defensive identity. And I do believe that identity is going to be fast and physical, similar to when we had Dan Quinn here as our head coach. That was the last time the Atlanta Falcons made it to the playoffs. And we also made a Super Bowl appearance. And I was listening to Jeff Ulbricht's recent press conference after the NFL draft. And he talked about his vision for this Atlanta Falcons defense. And he talked about Jalen Walker is mainly going to be used as a pass rusher to use his speed off the edge, him being able to bend the corner, and also James Pierce Jr., who we traded back up in the first round to draft out of Tennessee. He's another guy that's a speed rusher, ran the fastest 40 out of all the outside linebackers or defensive linemen in the draft. And I really feel like having a vision for this defense has been a problem since Dan Quinn was fired as our head coach. But I love what Jeff Ulbricht had to say about his vision for this team. And I really feel like over the last couple years, one of our Achilles heels outside of stopping the run for the Atlanta Falcons defense has been able to, or have been being able to stop mobile quarterbacks from, picking up first downs with their legs, being able to get outside of the pocket, and we not having enough athleticism and guys on the outside that could contain these mobile quarterbacks, similar to the Jaden Daniels, the Kyler Murrays. The league has changed where you no longer have a lot of statuesque quarterback where guys just sit in the pocket. You have guys that are using their legs and picking up first downs and extending drives, their ability to extend plays even when our coverage is good down the field. You have these quarterbacks that can extend plays with their legs to give their wide receivers and tight ends and running backs more time to get open. So I really feel like picking up Jalen Walker and James Pierce, I do feel like these guys are going to be two pillars of this Atlanta Falcons defense. And I really think that these guys have a chance to be special. I really feel like we're trying to build a defense similar to the Indianapolis Colts when they had Dwight Freeney coming off one edge, when they had Robert Mathis, and they had a high-scoring offense with Peyton Manning, with Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne and those guys, Dallas Clark. I really feel like that's what the Falcons are trying to emulate. It's trying to be a team that puts up a lot of points and being a team that is going to allow our edges to be super fast off the edge, super quick. And Jeff Ulbricht talked about that in his press conference, that he prefers guys that are explosive, that have length, that are quick off the snap and things of that nature. He talked about Jared Verse being an explosive athlete for the LA Rams, who to me, he's one of the best young pass rushers in the game. He talked about Bryce Huff, that he coached with the New York Jets, who also is a speed rusher off the edge. And he talked about him having success with Bryce Huff, where Bryce Huff had his best season playing under Jeff Ulbricht when he was with the New York Jets. He had about 10 sacks, and then he was able to sign a big contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I love what Jeff Ulbricht, is laying out as far as the blueprint, because he has a vision on what he wants his players to do. He has a vision of what type of pass rushers he actually likes. And I think the Falcons hit it out the park with Jalen Walker, with James Pierce Jr. Both of these guys are very explosive off the edge. I really feel like the issues we've had with the mobile quarterbacks being able to escape the pocket, being able to extend drives, which that was a backbreaker in that Washington game last year where the Falcons were still in playoff contention. Jalen Daniels over and over again was able to use his legs to get outside the pocket. And that's the reason that they won that game in overtime, is because Jaden Daniels was able to take over the game. So I love what the Falcons are doing with this defense. He talked about 1.5 players that are explosive, 1.5 guys off the edge that can get after the passer, but also having smart guys on the back end as well. The guys that we picked up, like Watts out of Notre Dame, he's a guy that takes the football away. We brought in Billy Bowman Jr. He's another guy that's really, really good at going after the football. And even the Kobe Bryants of the world that we brought in as an unrestricted free agent. I really feel like this Falcons team has a lot of guys that can get after the football, but I really feel like being fast, being physical, having that speed is going to be pretty much a recipe for success for this Atlanta Falcons team. I expect us to put up a lot of points against teams and then allow James Pierce, allow Leonard Floyd, allow those guys to fly off the edges and go after opposing quarterbacks and, create havoc on the defensive line and in that front seven. And having guys like Devon Diablo, who I think is going to be most likely the centerpiece playing that linebacker position, having guys like Caden Ellis, who's still on this roster, flying around. And if we could get Troy Anderson healthy, we have a lot of athleticism and speed on this defense. So we go from being a team last year that struggled on the edge. We didn't have a whole lot of athletes on the edge. We had guys like Matthew Judon. We had bigger physical defensive linemen. We didn't really have guys that can necessarily win with speed. So I love what they're doing with this Atlanta Falcons defense. So with that being said, you guys give me your thoughts on this Falcons defense. Do you think that Jeff Ulbricht's vision for this team is a success? The only knock that I have against Jeff Ulbricht and against the front office is I don't think they did enough in bringing in another defensive tackle, a really big guy like a Rashid Hageman, somebody can eat up blocks in the middle of the defense. But I like that they have a vision and they're moving forward with their vision. So with that being said, you guys give me your thoughts. I have a lot more content coming for you guys. But as always, Falcons Nation, rise up, be blessed. Peace.